Yeah, so Rob's over here. It's the first time at my new apartment because it seems like as is tradition of the show is that 6 months into something, Nick has to move.
Yep.
So moving further and further and further away from everyone.
I like your room though. Well proportioned.
Yeah, it's cute, right?
Can't complain. You live pretty. Don't want to divulge too much personal information. You live in the Nähe von Schloss Charlottenburg.
Yeah,
which I've never been to, but I always remember your description of it. When did you go? Like
I went there like the last time my mom was here, which was like 2 years ago, I think.
I've never been inside, but
oh yeah,
I am very curious about your descriptions. You should share it with podcasts.
Yeah,
because I've been to. I've never been to Versailles, but like I've been to like in like Spain. They have all the like big whatever, and like people have a picture of it from like. I think people kind of know what like the Spanish and French.
Have you not been
like,
to Sanssouci or whatever the fuck it is out in Potsdam?
No.
It's actually like really small, but it's just on a massive plot of land.
I've never been. So like I think people have that idea of like, there's a grand European royal opulence in mind. But your description of the Schloss Charlottenburg was very interesting to me as a counterpoint.
Yeah, I think that I'm surprised I've never mentioned this on the show, actually.
I don't think so.
Is that my theory of that one, if you need any more evidence of why every single like monarch during the like 19th century should have just been like not just abdicated but just executed, Schloss Charlottenburg is like the best example of that, because the thing that's so perfect about it is while like there's a very interesting fascination. Sorry, I'm just closing a bottle. There's a very interesting fascination. What?
Nick is drinking red wine.
Yeah,
I'm lying on his floor with using a basketball as a pillow.
Exactly. This is these are the Späti laid back hours.
No parents. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you just notice, it's just Nick and I.
But there's a level of like aristocratic opulence of the not even just of the 19th century, but like leading into then the sense of the revolutions that then hit Europe and whatnot. I love how there's this obsession with people thinking that they had taste when you
say what you will about them, but they were stylish.
Yeah. Literally, like people like, damn, like I'm sorry, like I mean I've never been to Versailles or whatever, but like seeing like the like ornateness of it is like the tackiest shit to me. But the thing that I like about Schloss Charlottenburg so much is that it's the tackiness like threefold because it's Germany. So it's like, one, we're German, we have literally no taste whatsoever. But also there's just like a lot of cues of just like, by the way, we're really racist too. And I love it. I think it's the perfect example of a relic of something that just like, I don't get why that building is still up and they tore down the Palast der Republik. And then they put up this like Hohenzollern, monstrosity of a castle. Like there is a weird sense in Europe in general.
It's
not
called
even
style, Nick, but it's called fashion.
No stylist. Yeah, King Wilhelm just coming out drippy. Can't move his left arm, but yeah, no stylist, dog. But there's really something that's incredibly fascinating to me that it's just kind of this unwritten thing within like Europe of just like, well, yeah, like we have to like preserve these buildings. And I don't like, you have to pay admission to go to Schloss Charlottenburg. The historicism of it like makes no sense to me of like, yeah, some fucking rich cunts lived here. But I like there was something incredibly like liberating of the fact of like when the Soviet Union like took over buildings of like the aristocracy or like churches and stuff like that, they made them into like cool stuff. Like the cathedral in Riga got turned into like I think a planetarium or something like that.
Sure.
And then had like a restaurant too in it. Like they became like, the buildings themselves weren't demolished. They were then used so that then the public could then obviously enjoy them. And it wasn't even in a sense of like an educational sense of like, look at how the czars lived. It's just like, there's a building, let's use it, so on and so forth. And the rest of like continental Europe, I mean, Russia does this now, with their whole like weird imperial like bullshit that they're on right now. But Europe's like inability to then like, I feel that then like the biggest way of then like accepting that they're a republic would be just like, yo, fuck them. Like make Schloss Charlottenburg is a massive green area that like has a park and this and that, but the building itself is just this eyesore with like there's a room that then is filled with china.
Yeah, that's what I want to ask. Please describe this. This is what I remember
room
in particular.
filled with china, which then has caricatures of Chinese men holding china,
wait, so
protruding out of the wall.
What describe how they're protruding out of the wall?
They're statues.
They're wood, it's like carved out of the wall.
No, they're added to the wall, and they're like protruding out of it, like statues.
It could be as if the whole. I'm sure this is not how it was made, but the way I imagine it is that like the entire wall could have been carved away except for this piece of caricature.
No, unfortunately, they're just added to it, but they're like coming out of the wall holding the pieces, and they're all.
Is that like some racist thing Germans thought about China in the 1800s? They,
I guess I don't
from
know.
Walls.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they're holding
the pieces of like the larger pieces of china, and then they're all plastered like up. They're all like put up on the wall, and it's literally called the China Room. Yeah, this is what you get when you have unlimited wealth.
But that's just so tacky too. Like, what does that mean? And of course, like a more German, like exotic, like a fascination with the exotic, which
exactly. It's very
long documented on this podcast.
Yeah, that's it. There's really not much. I mean, like it's just like I remember going through with my mom when I went through that. It was just like this is the ugliest building in town, and that is saying a lot. Yeah, it's like not pretty in any regard. Like the outside, I think looks like shit. The inside looks even shittier. Just make it into something useful. I don't know. Like there's some like castles that then like have been changed to like university buildings and whatnot. Like having people spend like 14 euros to like look at racism on the wall it's not even like educational either. It's just like they lived here.
Is it 14 euros?
It's expensive as shit. Ooh. Yeah. Like,
well, I'm gonna go
for it. Yeah. You can get in. You get a discount.
Oh,
but
nice.
Yeah, it's just. I think that was funny. The first thing that came to your mind was like, oh yeah, you live near that place that you hate.
The China Room. I always remember the China Room, man.
Yeah, it is like, to be very fair. It is like the park around it's really nice, but you're like not really allowed in certain parts of it and whatnot. I don't know.
Will they let me do a TikTok inside?
Yeah, I think that they will. Yeah.
I just discovered this. Like it's like Aldi in the U.S. They're like, look at these guys.
I just discovered the China Room. Yo. Yeah, it's cool. My like little geheim tip for Berlin is the China Room.
Yeah, Corner Späti walking tour coming soon.
Yeah. Yeah, you can pay us money to take you around to places that are stupid.
I want to steal one and put it in your room.
Please don't. Oh yeah, random people come into my room and be like, Nick, why do you have a Chinese caricature protruding out of your wall holding a big bowl of
It
China?
can hold whatever you want. I mean, once it's yours, right? Can't you swap it out? No?
I don't know. I feel that then it might like
you could put lighters in there or something.
I don't know. I feel that then it's like the fact of it being as extremely racist as it possibly can be is like I just don't want to fuck with the vibes. Maybe something bad will happen.
Yeah, it could be cursed.
Yeah,
it should be. If it's not.
Yeah, maybe like the Hohenzollern family will like rise from the dead and just like try to collect their missing pieces of china.
Yeah, whoever gets more racist than them, it's like you free them from their curse, and they can return and haunt the earth.
Yeah.
So,
but
watch out for that.
Yeah,
stay vigilant.
Hey! Welcome to your weekly Corner Späti. As Rob and I have already mentioned, it is just the two of us.
Yep.
We're chilling. It was Halloween weekend. We weren't going to be productive.
Happy Halloween, by the way.
Happy Halloween, or I guess now Happy All Saints Day tomorrow, which will be when this episode comes out.
But
and
we are recording this on Halloween.
Quick
turnaround on this one. Did you buy any candy?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I don't like candy that much.
But do you think you get any trick or treaters? No one's rung the bell.
No, they're German.
Some people trick or treat.
Did you see that thing of like that letter that was going around on Twitter of like some German person?
Oh yeah, like please don't
give candy, give like kohlrabi sticks, and like that is the most yuppie green vibes. Yeah,
but honestly, it's I ate so much candy as a kid on Halloween. It was not good for me. But I understand it's you can't
it's
stop.
It's a one time of the year
kids.
thing. Like
let me just say I made it worth it. Right?
That's right.
I was like a bear getting ready for hibernation. Yeah, if you eat, I calculate if you eat 50,000 Snickers, you can make it through the winter. But then, of course, I would just keep eating in the winter too.
Yeah, but in the case of it being Halloween weekend, and we are all knackered, as some people would say,
went to a couple parties, saw some friends.
Yeah, Rob and I sat down and watched a movie that then I like weirdly wanted to watch, but I've only wanted to watch it with someone.
I understand.
And so we watched this really stupid documentary about the bouncers at clubs in Berlin.
Yep. Berlin Bouncer, yeah. It premiered at the 2019 Berlin Film Festival. Mm-hmm. So that's how you know it's good.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing but bangers at the Berlinale. But I was mostly curious about this because one of the main characters of this is Sven, who Sven, who is the bouncer at Berghain, and it was like marketed as that like he's the main character and everyone else around him is, but he was actually in it I think the least, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably.
And
it was pretty equal between the three.
True, yeah. But no, the other dude, the Mr. We'll get to him. He definitely had the most on-air time. But the reason I think that I wanted to watch this is because I don't think any other country in the world has such an obsession with club bouncers.
Yeah.
Like an unhealthy obsession.
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
And I came into this thesis of that the reason that then Berlin and Germany have this is because it's ultimately cop mentality, and Germany is a cop country. So the respect of your Türsteher or your bouncer is like he's the troops. He's someone that Blue Lives Matter and all this other type of shit. Germans default to this type of like respect for authority.
Sure.
Even if they like pretend that they don't. Like they make up other like authoritarian figures for them to respect and be obsessed with. Yes, people who respect Sven or other other bouncers may not particularly like the cops, but then you've just created your own police. So I find this to be one of the odder things of just living here, of that then people talk about, especially Sven, like he's like some like enigmatic figure, and that he's like radiates cool, and I cannot describe to you of that I've never seen someone have worse fit and drip.
He's also
Sven.
just like he's just kind of boring.
He's super
not
boring.
A very interesting person,
but he like tries to do this thing that people who are actually really boring, who try to perceive themselves as cool, do is by like being like really like vague, enigmatic, not really giving any straight answers the entire time, and like refusing to answer questions that are like really basic of like, would you have a relationship with someone, and just like is quiet for like a minute, and he's like, I don't know, like
that means you could fill in that silent, that could be anything. It is by definition cooler than whatever he could possibly say, because you can imagine he's thinking the coolest stuff. And
it definitely, and for him, they went into the fact that he's also, for those who don't know, he also does photography. I don't know if he's a well-respected photographer. It just seems like he did very just generic black and white photos.
We were joking that like there's one scene where he's just taking like not very cool photos of some DJ.
Oh my god, yeah. Where he was doing like promo shots for some DJ. They literally looked as tacky as you could possibly imagine. And I think
he was like half like his like hiding behind a wall, so you just see like half his face.
There are photos that I've done as a joke with friends of mine of like,
but Sven could charge maybe €1 million for a photo shoot and get plenty of takers in Berlin, aspiring DJs in Berlin.
Well, this is in Berlin, yeah. All right, so this is the thing that then I think is so interesting about this documentary as well, is that it can only exist within a sense of being then for one city in the world, which is Berlin. The audience of this is not larger than the 3 or 4 million people who live in Berlin, or people who have like lived in Berlin before. And the thing I find that's incredibly interesting about Berlin is that there is actually, like, when you like kind of pull back the curtain of the obsession with it, there's nothing happening in Berlin. All right, there's no like actual art scene that then's like unique to it. There's no music scene that then's actually unique to it. It's continuing like living in an era that then it pretends that it actually had, that like existed in a weird historical landscape because like half of a country didn't exist anymore, you know?
Yeah.
And they're all like obsessed with like the 90s, which is objectively maybe the worst decade. And it's very funny when then people, I mean, I've experienced this the entire time I've lived here, which is now getting close to a decade, of that people are, it's like, yeah, you're chasing a high of something that you've never experienced. And even the people that are like here that long are continuously like grumpy old men, but it's a scene that then like no one else actually cared about, where it's like I can at least like get in the sense of other ones where it's like, yeah, man, you know, LA 1980s, it was crazy, you know, there was this and this and this going on, or like New York in the 70s, you had like the punk and like glam scene and whatnot. Like those weirdly to me have more like an appeal than the sense that maybe it could me just having a bias against electronic music. I don't know, like
Speak
not that I dislike it, but I find it just really corny. Maybe also because I live here too, of that like the level of corniness of hearing people who live in Berlin being obsessive over like the simplest music in existence makes no sense to me, and treating these people who are like, as you've called them, curators, they're not even musicians, as like glorified, as something that they're not, like that they're like I like going to a club and it's like, oh, do you know who's DJing tonight? I'm like, I don't care. I'm going because I'm expecting techno music tonight. This is a techno club. I'm assuming I'll be something like I'm assuming that I'll be satisfied at the end of it, you know? Like I'm not, oh yeah, play the fucking hits, dude. You know, I love this one, dog. Like you don't go to a club for that reason, it's for the vibe. But similarly at the same time, I think probably because of that, there is no actual scene of anything that then happens in Berlin, nor has there been for like decades.
Yeah. A few things. So with this whole like 90s and it's obviously a blind spot for the documentary too, because you'd actually have to get into like, you know, the real political and historical development of the city and
that it was always gentrification.
That is like, so all they can say is like, it was crazy. There are a bunch of like, you know, squats and new spaces, and it's like that's all they can say. As like they are always, and this is why the bouncer is such a bizarre but, you know, honestly, appropriate figure of adoration for the club scene, because it's not that you're always the spectator, but you're always like, oh, I got a hot tip, or I know where to go. It's like, you know, the best places to go, how that place got there, or who's really running it, or all these things. It's really just like being like, basically like Gossip Girl. Like you know what's going on in the city, and you know the hottest places, and that's it. Like you're just a gossip.
Yeah.
And then you get to also decide, who gets to come in and who doesn't, which seems like a great role for someone who wants to.
There is
kind of arbitrarily.
There is something genuinely like for me. I don't actually like seriously using the term red flag, but people who are like way too into like the club scene, big red flag. Like
Nick's coming with the hot takes. Although I have to say, when I thought it was classic Nick spicy take with the cops, but they are literally cops.
Yeah.
So much like they are just like they suck. They're usually racist. They're like, I mean, you know, it happens, and like, it's the worst part of the whole experience. Why are people romanticizing it?
Yeah, I love standing in line. I love the anxiety inducing.
Oh yeah.
For those like who've been I know I'm dropping on the pod that I'm cool and I've been to Bagheim a few times. The most anxiety inducing thing is in being like am I wasting my time?
Well, it's embarrassing, right?
Yeah,
they have like complete control over you. Like
I will say that the tip of getting into Bagheim.
Here we go from
all right, from me is I complimented the person's Fear Factory shirt who was the Tuesday. I was like, oh, like I don't know, cool T-shirt. Fear Factory's, kind of sick. Whatever. If you're into new metal, and I just was like, yeah, nice shirt. And the guy's like, komm mal rein.
I was about to throw you the fuck out, you Zoolander looking bitch. But you complimented my
shirt. You complimented my new metal band shirt. So.
But the projection
that is Nick's secret. Everyone's been asking. However, how do you get into Berghain? What do you got to wear? I have gone into Berghain wearing not very cool looking clothes. Still got in because all you got to do is just tip your hat, say "milady," and compliment the dude's T-shirt.
And so the bouncer, like in this vaguely apolitical, like. You're just along for the ride, just like, again, almost like a tastemaker. The reason it lines up with cops or even like the U.S., like, respect our troops, the bouncers, like, it's in a vague sense that people would say, oh, well, they make the whole thing work. Like, they have to decide who gets in and have the right environment and everything. And it's like, when you really start to interrogate it, like, they probably don't. Like, they don't have all that power over it. And it's not because of them that is a good environment inside. But, like, to interrogate that too much would be like, either to, I don't know, get too depressed about it or to, I don't know, it would raise too many questions in a similar way that like,
I'm sorry,
Alice Vendick troop support would in the U.S. would be like, no, you can't think about it. Just support the troops. That's why we have good things. Like support the bouncers. That's why you can have a good time in the club. Like just leave it at that. No questions.
Exactly. I think the perfect example of this is that that they're trying to like curate who comes in, how to make the best evening. One of the funniest experiences of my entire life was that I found out that my former flatmate was kicked out of Berghain for dealing speed. And it's one of the funniest things because like you have to be an idiot to get kicked out of that club for I think he even got like Hausverbot like from the place. And very 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 funny that you just mentioned the sense that then in reality they can't actually change anything. No, they can't, because my idiot 40-something-year-old ex-flatmate who kind of had a lot of the similar vibes of one of the other Türsteher, the other bouncers, who was painfully uncool. I think that then something that we have to also like explain as well for those who do not live in Berlin, the perception, maybe they do know this already because maybe I've talked about it before, but the perception of like Berlin being cool is one of the funniest to me because it is one of the most uncool like scenes. Like the Berlin like techno art scene thing is one part dominated by like a very fake goth thing that I think is really funny, like as like someone who was really into metal for a really long time. I think that the like how hard they stress of being like gothic is really funny and very forced and kind of like cheesy. And they don't get how camp it is really funny to me. But the second thing is how like a lot of it is like really bad graffiti, a lot of like very like people who would like post like inspirational quotes and think it's like really deep. Those are the type of people that you run into at a techno club. It's not like the cool queer kids. It's like a dude who's like probably an anti-vaxxer who's like 40-something years old, probably if they voted for the AFD, and just like wants vibes. And that is very much like I would argue kind of like the overwhelming vibe of like when you go to a normal techno club. If you go to the ones that then are like queer centric, you have a better time in Berlin. They are like, a more open, easier kind of like to navigate vibe. But when you go to like, let's say like Sisyphus or whatever, you get a lot of like older, weird German like Berlin techno heads who are like, like old men, or like, I don't know. I find it overwhelmingly cringe, and how much it's so hyped up that then it's cool, but in reality, it's just like it's very like Gen X loser energy.
The word cringe will be reappearing several times in this
because it is the Jugendwort des Jahres.
Ooh. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it got voted as the youth word of the year for Germany.
and because once you realize that it's all cringe, you can see that this is just it's all cop mentality.
Propaganda.
Your thing is 100% propaganda. And one more point about the politics of it. Again, the sad part is it's a kind of alienation, right? Like, on the one hand, the bouncer is just the status form, but even the DJ, yeah, they pick some good tunes, but it's like you're projecting the good time, like you and everyone else is creating it by like whatever, maybe being in a liminal space.
I don't know, the DJ sucks because they never, when I request, can you play the 2016 double XL freshman ciphers? And they don't. And then I get kicked out of the club. Yeah. You know, I know that they have no taste.
Yeah, I asked them to play Darude Sands.
I was at a club last night and they played it.
Yeah. It's cool again. No, yeah. But like it's like a projection and like a little bit of alienation to be like, oh, it's thanks to this place or this person that I'm having a great time here. When it's like,
no,
it's in you. It's you and your communal experience.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
But like the bouncer as some figurehead of this, like, oh, I had a great time, is like, that's like the saddest, you know, form of the projection that goes on. And this documentary honestly does a good job. I don't know if they intended or you're reading between the lines of so they can't film inside Berghain. They can't film like them, you know, the line in front of Berghain. And just all the shots of them like being at a bar or like showing off art or like partying with naked girls dancing on bar tops.
It's so
cringe.
Yeah, it's so
embarrassing. They're like asserting, no, we're having a good time. There's a good time here. And it like really shows you that it's like, it's not because of the bouncer that I have a positive, warm feeling towards this place or this memory or this experience.
It really is like, I really like them in the sense too of that. Then at the beginning of the movie, they faked a interaction. The very first thing is that it's showing them like preparing the night for this club, and they have a very, very, very clearly forced and staged interaction where someone is very poorly like reading lines in English that they like, oh, but can't we come in? It's like, no, it's a private party. It's like, but like we want to come in, you know. It's very just, and then after that, it's like, yeah, I got to be the one who curates the night, and it's like, you are like, you literally not even cop mentality. It's like mall security guard mentality, like a completely useless job that is literally like it exists. I get it. Like they hire the mall security so that you stop the kids from skateboarding, but the kids are going to come back and skateboard anyway, you know, or like actual crime is never actually dealt with by the mall security guard. They like legally can't.
Yeah. But it was cool to see like Paul Blart's inner life.
Literally though, but like yeah, they have like a fucking Paul Blart-esque mentality of like I'm the first line of defense against, you know, skateboarding kids because
I'm the gateway to your utopia, you know, and you should honestly respect me as such.
Yeah,
you can.
I can understand when clubs have, you know, like the idea then of the bouncer makes sense of like, I think creating safe spaces for people who need those safe spaces created. Of like, I understand that then if you go into a, like, again, like I mentioned, like the queer scene in Berlin or whatever, you know, like you let anyone into that, like that's, you know, obviously not good. You know, having a gang of, you know, English bros going into you know, stumbling into a queer party is going to be bad news for either one party or the other.
I did enjoy. There was one scene where they're talking about how like, these coked up English boys were trying to get in. I wouldn't let them in, and then we got in a huge brawl. It's like, you know, I'm glad some things never change.
Like, yeah, and I'm not saying that then in the sense I'm like against like a door policy in any way. Like, you know, I understand that there's like how especially like nightlife in Berlin is, the sense you have a lot of tourists who come and like make problems. And that. That's all true. I literally, in the case of stumbled upon a group of Americans like a while ago. Who then invited me to go out with them, and if I was not there, the guy would have had like been robbed, like thinking that he was getting like drugs and shit like that. Like there are dumb people out there who like don't understand the sense of like, you know, normal behavior, and are I would argue predominantly tourists in Berlin. Like it makes sense. But you're not the most important, cog of the evening of like, what curates the evening and whatnot.
Yeah. So there are 3 bouncers in this movie.
Yeah, they're kings.
I want to. We're going to save the best for last. The most obvious. Sometimes you need the most extreme example to really hammer home the point that this is just a piece of shit cop. But we'll get there in steps. The first you mentioned is Sven.
Sven's the most boring.
He's just boring.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
It's just like they all represent different parts of. I feel like the the troop worship that goes on around the techno scene. But he's just like. It just doesn't look that interesting,
No,
he's
I mean,
walking
he
along
looks
the beach
like
in Vostok.
Cool. I know he doesn't even actually look
He's
that
hanging
cool.
out. He's at like a book signing in Italy, and just like he's drinking a Weinschorle and giving a talk. He's just like, all right, cool.
Yeah,
jet setting around the like. That's the real like. I'm sure the Berlinale people will be like, oh, he's just like me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do the same thing when I'm going for a UN summit or whatever that I'm invited to because I'm a fucking psychopath who can get tickets.
Sven is speaking at Davos this year, actually, about border control.
Oh damn! When the clubs were closed, Sven found a job opening in Poland for Frontex. But
the EU is sending Sven to the Belarusian border.
Yeah, there's genuinely just a sense of that, like, in the sense of trying to make him a mysterious figure, he just comes off as being just even more lame.
Yeah.
And like I said, my man has the worst fits I've seen on probably.
You can't tell him nothing. That dude is he's a god on earth, and so his fits are. He can pull it off. He can wear whatever he wants.
I like how this movie came out in 2019.
2019.
He's wearing drop crotch trainers in 2019. It's like that's so sick.
The second character is a guy named Smiley Baldwin. Is his name? I think because
Smiley Baldwin.
He was American, so we automatically liked him more. He's. I
liked him at first, and then you researched him. And I liked him now, maybe the least.
So he's from the U.S. Virgin Islands. Moved. He was in the army. He was in Berlin. It seemed randomly, just on a visit, and then he's like, "Oh, this is sick. I got to come back here." And
no, randomly on a visit? No, it was not randomly on a visit. He was stationed here.
No. He came and then he made sure. No, I need to go back there.
Oh, okay.
And got a job in the military police for the U.S. Army in West Berlin.
Yeah, who polices the police?
So he's a smiley guy. That's why his nickname's Smiley. And he seems to be friendly and all that, but he is literally the most cop of all of them because he today runs a security firm in Berlin. So that's his day job. Yeah, I don't know. He's literally well, I guess I can apply what I learned my training in the U.S. Army to decide who does and doesn't get into clubs.
Berlin do you just continuously hounding down drunk troops?
Maybe.
I mean, maybe maybe a Türsteher is his only job in life that he can actually do.
He's black. He talks about some is there racism, and he's like, no, I never felt any racism. East Berlin, everyone, it was a great time at all the clubs. I guess there's some examples of him. People being racist to him when he was the Türsteher, but otherwise I don't think
all those times. But yeah, everything else, good vibes.
And so at the end he's also one of these characters where it's oh fuck, okay, you're gonna literally run a security company in Berlin. This is oh cool, open, not repressive. This is where you can be open. You don't have to worry about everything's horizontal. Everything's just live, let live. No rule,
Yeah, that's the mentality that I have at my company. Hi, my name's Eric Prince.
Eric Prince would be a great. Did you know at McFit? This is a year ago or so now, but there was this big advertising campaign. I think it was outside too, but Wir sichern Berlin, and then it's there was this dude it was via we make everything happen. We make the parties happen. We make this happen, and it was I was just there doing my sets, thinking, damn, that could be me.
Was it for the police or what?
I don't know if it was. I think it was a private security firm, but they were hiring people. It was not the police. I remember.
Like Wizag or whatever.
It's probably something like that. Anyway, I just thought like people would finally respect me. People would have to salute me as I walk down the street. People would have to stand up and applaud when I walk into Hauptbahnhof.
Yeah, exactly.
I was tempted by the.
You get a 21 gun salute when you get off the train.
I could finally get.
Sorry, a little side note. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this on the show. Do you know that the security company that then works with BFLG is?
It could be that one, honestly.
Well, no. This is the thing that's really funny of it is it's like a family like mafia business that they don't hire people outside of their family. So all the people, they had a scandal a few years ago because they didn't process the paperwork of like a black employee, and it like took him like years to get onto the force apparently of the people who harass you on the train.
Huh.
Fun fact, for anyone who wants to do a little bit of research that I don't personally want to, that company whose name I forget is incredibly sketchy. So
I assume so wirsichernberlin.de is Haus für Sicherheit Berlin.
I don't need to know
they are the Blackwater of the Berlin troops, but you could be an operator. You could be a Türsteher operator, Get a bunch of tattoos, get the lip piercings, just stand there.
Get a grill.
Just stand on a street corner and stop people who are trying to bike by.
I will say on Sven's defense though, I know that we're going back to him. He's like one of 6 white people who can wear a grill.
So he does have some swag.
Well, it's not even just so much that it's swag; it's the fact that then he has no swag, but there's the extensive jewelry makes sense. So that is his fit's garbage, but he does get he is one of the 6 white people who can wear a grill. The other ones being Paul Wall, Post Malone, and I'll get back to you on the other
person listening to this.
The person, the girl listening to this
can wear a grill. And then we have, I feel like, the synthesis, the ultimate representation of Berlin bouncer culture. His name is Frank Künster. What do you remember about Frank from the movie? Just create a sketch, a character sketch for the listener.
He's a portly middle-aged German man who looks as basic as you can imagine.
From a little town in Baden-Württemberg. All the internal German.
Literally, not one feature of him has I couldn't, aside from maybe his tattoo on his arm. He looks just like a German guy. Has a big belly.
Yeah,
that's it. But what sets him apart is that he's a fucking freak.
He is I said it as a joke, and then that he is the ultimate "where's my hug at?" And then literally no fewer than 20 times in the documentary, he basically goes like, "Hallo, wo ist mein Hug?" And he's like, "Yeah, I run the coolest bar." And then he's just like, "Yeah, we're all having fun here. It's crazy." And then it's just he's got really young girls on his arm. And then there's one scene literally where I guess they're filming a movie or something.
It was a photo shoot, I think.
And so he's just there's just naked, topless girls.
The best part is
holding fake guns. And then he's just yeah, you gotta hug me. I'm smoking my cigarette. I look cool.
Yeah, and then the conversation that he's having with a very coked out man with
whose dad is probably a pretty well off film director. And he's yeah, I can rent the equipment from my dad. We can do this.
Yeah, literally
my uncle has this perfect WG, huge Altbau, middle of the city.
Yeah, there's some people living there. We can just fucking kick them out. Yeah, Eigenbedarf. I gotta shoot this sketchy
We're the troops. You kick down the door.
Yeah, just 7.
That's in the German Constitution.
Yeah. If you say Eigenbedarf and you just appear with 7 just busty women, you get to take that apartment.
Yeah,
back.
You get to take it. You have to let them do a photo. A photo shoot, which. One woman's face was blurred out in it, and so just makes me raise questions about what's going on, who these people are, if they're there's just many shots of him just sitting there on his stool in front of a door, and then just like pointing through 5 people and being like pointing at the girl, and then being like, like sitting there like Jabba the Hutt and being like, just getting Princess Leia and like holding them tight and being like, oh, welcome. Oh. There's no, you just honestly, I don't know if we should recommend people watch this movie, but
no,
like,
it's bad. It's really boring. It's genuinely a waste of my
him
time.
Being a, I don't want to say sex pest, but I just wouldn't be surprised at all. He shows off his art in his apartment, and he's like, that's me as Liberace, I think was one of them.
Yeah.
I can just imagine he turns the corner and he's like, my friend painted this. It's like, check it out. It's these naked women, and they all have Pink Floyd albums painted on their back, and they're sitting on this ledge, and it's so sexy. Because like all of his like sexy photos and like photo shoots he does is just like, here's a girl with big boobs and she's covering she's covering one nipple. Like, okay, cool, dude.
Yeah, like you go into his room and he has a big poster of just like a chick with massive tits, like smoking a joint.
Oh yeah,
and it's like her bikini is also like pot themed and whatnot.
He's wearing one of those tie-dye "Let's Get Weird" shirts. Just like, he's just a party animal, dude.
Yeah, he is. He is not only that of the fact of the weird, you know what?
He also makes classic Disney noises when he sees busty women come up. He goes, "Awoo!" Everyone in the line has to wait 2 minutes while he cycles through all of the while steam comes out of his ears. He's hitting himself in the head with a hammer. That's why it takes so long.
Yeah,
to
his
get in.
eyes just continuously just like protrude out of his head. His jaw drops to the floor.
Yeah,
saliva is just going everywhere.
Yeah. He walks through the city and he says like, he's like, "Where's my hug at? I am a troop. Can you give me my hug?"
Oh yeah, he's like, there's that part that was very weird, but the thing that was really kind of odd to me at his character was the best to me because at the end of it he like. Maybe not even just him, but all of their lives were just incredibly sad.
Yeah, I don't. Again, that's one of those things where I don't know if the documentary is going for it or it's just an element of it. Like, but he is kind of like, yep. I mean, does he? I feel like he even says like in a quote, like, "I love living a hedonistic life," and he's just like at the end, like, another party, come and gone.
Yeah, but it's just like in the sense of like he lives in like a really dumpy in like a really dumpy apartment. Like it's, I don't know. Yeah, like. I don't get it. Like, I feel that they're all just like coping with like extreme depression in the sense of the club scene. Just like,
they're probably not the only ones.
I know that. At
least they get to be legends, dude. They get to be.
No, remember the
life.
the one bouncer said to Smiley that he's not a legend. He's a hero.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
the bouncer at Prince Charles, which is a fucking cringe ass club.
Yeah, they were standing in front of Matrix and just being like, bros, where it all started.
That's the only like step that could go like lower in that.
I have been to Matrix.
Why?
I didn't know someone. It's a long story. I was with someone I was with a friend who kept getting kicked out of line because he was drunk, and then someone was like, "I know a place where we can go," and we ended up in Matrix.
Yo, was it lit?
No.
I imagine it's mostly just like 16-year-olds who watch Berlin Tag und Nacht.
I mean, I don't even remember. It's pretty empty, I gotta say.
Yeah. The thing that's really all right. So for those who don't know, this is getting a little bit too niche of Berlin.
We're getting inside. Yeah, inside baseball.
There's a club in Berlin called Matrix, and the thing that's the funniest thing about it is that there's a television show that's adjacent to it called Berlin Tag und Nacht, where it's on, I believe, a private channel. I think it's on RTL, and the entire point of the show is that you have these like, I don't know, just a bunch of losers who like don't do anything. And it's like Degrassi if it had the budget of like a high school production. and
one of them does become a Berlin a famous techno DJ like Drake.
I bet. I mean, they all end up having kind of really funny scandals in real life, but they all like go to this club frequently in the show, and it's like I think the only thing that then is keeping like Matrix in business is that you have like 16-year-olds, like their first club experience is like, oh my god, gonna go to Berlin and gonna go to this club. And if I'm not mistaken, it is one of the few clubs that then lets like younger people come in.
Probably.
Because a lot of the other clubs in Berlin have a 21 and over policy.
Yeah. They should just try to create a, they need better PR, and then they can have a worldwide reputation for just being like crazy where anything happens, all thanks to some wild characters.
Yeah.
Who represent pure utopia on this planet.
Yeah, I don't recommend watching this movie at all. I thought it would be a funny idea because Rob and I are just not feeling too great today. And it was not a good film. Like, genuinely a bad documentary. This is not a recommendation to like check it out in any way.
This is really just about putting the thesis out there that the Berlin clubs is troop worship,
Yeah, it
and
is.
you should stop and you're going to get in trouble if you disrespect the troops.
Yeah.
Every time you have a party in Hasenheide, that's disrespecting the troops. You can't.
Stolen valor.
It's absolutely stolen valor.
Yeah.
You can't. Who do you think you are?
Yeah, don't go to an open air rave that's just in the middle of nowhere. I really I think like my little bit of advice though for everyone is that if you end up in the city of Berlin and you end up in the circles of people who start talking about how someone like Sven is cool,
Is this a conversation you've had a lot?
Yeah, I've had this.
Okay, but how does it come up? Like
when I first came
like
here,
a pause, and people are like, who's cool?
No, it would just be like people like have a weird like admiration for him that I don't understand. It is a thing within certain group, like people who think that going to Berghain is cooler than just the sense of going to a club and having a good time, but view it as a religious experience. People who have some like who I think believe in the similar like mindset of how they're like, I just want to live a hedonistic lifestyle because they're just like so afraid of the sense, I think, of like coming to the realization that they're like boring. These are the people who then like think that it's cool.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that move to Berlin who like will buy into the bullshit of the club scene and whatnot. Like the clubs in Berlin are great. They genuinely are. Like Berlin has great clubs. It is a fun time, but the minute that you start like making your fucking life about it is like really weird to me. And the minute that you start worshiping the bouncer is a massive red flag.
Well, it's sad to me because again, like I have, for whatever reason, personally, so much sympathy for people who are like, I just want to have a good time and I don't know what to do. I'm not cool. I'm just trying to like, and maybe they're maybe they're weird. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they can't get to the clubs because they're not cool. And like everyone has the right to party, of course. They gotta have a chill, good time, and in a lot of ways that leads to very violent, like, I mean,
people are.
You've been to frat parties in the U.S., right? Like that's one way where it's like you've only been to one.
I've only been to one.
Party?
Actually, I got asked this last night of have I ever been to a frat party, and I said yes, I've been to one.
One?
And I've been to one. And everyone got kicked out of the party but me and two other people because the guy whose house it was like, you guys are cool. Everyone else has to leave. And I was there for 30 minutes. I did not know him.
The analogy I told people,
I don't think he's a good person to ask.
But where I'm going with this is that I used the analogy before that frat parties are almost like cartels. Like because you have to be 21 legally to drink. It's like, yeah, it goes onto the black market and it's like, yeah, you can like. If you're you're an 18-year-old at college, you can get fucked up here, but like someone might roofie your drink. Like it's what I mean? Like it's like this like gray zone where people can like have like this power that they shouldn't have. And I'm not saying Berlin techno clubs are like that, but even to project this coolness onto like the fucking bouncer, like goes in this direction as if it's like, you make the party. You yourself, the listener, the attendee, make the party, not this fucking bouncer, whatever. But it's like, and going in that direction, I feel like only leads to bad things. Whether it's, not kind of always feeling on the outside or alienated from whatever fun experience or creative expression or whatever you're looking for, or on the other end of things, like giving people power who can abuse that power. We can put it leave it like that.
I think one of the funniest things that then kind of ties into this obsession that people have is, I don't know if you've met people like this, but coming across the person who is obsessed with particularly Berghain, who has never been to Berghain.
Don't want to ruin the mystique.
Well, this is the thing, is that like, I think that people have this idea, and the people who like go there religiously, like think it's like the Blade Party, like nonstop. And it's like, again, like I'm not gonna like shit on it, the fact that it's a good club. It's one of the better clubs in town. It's getting too expensive, but whatever. It's definitely a thing, but there's like this idea that then like that people think it's the I think people just legitimately think it's like the Blade Party. Is really funny to me because I don't know, like I can't emphasize how normal this club is. Like it's not like, so yes, you can see weird things like people getting head like randomly, and like it's like that, but that's like normal. I think in like the Berlin club scene is like there is that hedonism that's everywhere. It's kind of lame, but at the end of the day it's like whatever, like fine.
Well, not to go back to Frank.
That's lame,
but
though.
He's like, it's so cringe where he's like, it's just sexy, have a good time, you want to make women feel good and open.
Oh,
and
God,
it's like,
no, not this quote that you found.
Okay, I do have a quote I need to read from him. I was doing a little Googling.
Yeah. Oh my God.
No, but his like, it seems cringe to me. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, you shouldn't like, just black and white photos of naked women isn't cool.
Yeah, that shit.
Like, whatever. His do suck. They're cringe. And again, maybe you've seen this documentary, maybe you haven't.
I doubt that anyone has.
But it's uncomfortable sometimes. His relationship with some women.
Yeah, horribly. Yeah, no, very, very, very odd.
I was doing a little Googling. And I found a quote from Frank. This is in an interview with, I don't know if it's an interview or they just collected, I think they just like collected quotes he said in the past. I'll read it in German and then we can translate. This is from Frank Künster. Das klingt dann rassistisch. Aber Gruppen mit Migrationshintergrund benehmen sich halt anders. Vor allem Frauen gegenüber, und das ist im Club schädlich. Man muss den Frauen den Raum geben, sich wohlzufühlen. And then blah, 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 blah. If there's too many men and they're an osh or whatever. Basically what that says is, I don't mean to sound racist, but the migration background groups treat or like act differently with women, and that's bad in the club. You have to make women give them space and make them feel good. And again, the man saying this is just like picking women out of a lineup and being like, oh, come give me a hug. You want to get into this club? Like, you want to do a photo shoot with me? Like, oh my God, I love beautiful women. Oh, I love sexy ladies. I just got so pissed off, dude, when I read that.
Yeah, he's definitely the coolest.
Yeah. He ran king size bar or club, which I don't know, people it's like
doesn't exist anymore.
Legendary, dude.
Yeah, it's so legendary. I think it existed for 4 years and went bankrupt. The thing that was something that then like another vibe of this like documentary that then I found was very interesting is that them, because they're all like, all right, if there's anything that then's more of an endorsement of Deutsche Wohnen Co-enteignen is all these people who are like them continuously being like, damn, like I hate that Berlin's changing, this and that. Yeah, if you want, like, I legitimately think that it's good that then Berlin has a lot of alternative spaces, even though I may not frequent them myself. So the thing that's just funny is in having these like grumpy old men kind of go around and just being like, damn, things are getting different. But there's like no like understanding of it. It's just like times are changing, like wonder why that is. But it's like entirely in the sense of like that there's, the like the like thumb of neoliberalism that Berlin's under that's been like slowly, like it's been resisting in like certain regards. I would not say that these people are in any regard of that. I think the techno scene is probably one of the most yuppie things in Berlin, depending on like which, thing or how you navigate it. But the thing of the matter is that at the end of the day, Berlin does have interesting things, and the inability of understanding that, because I remember you found a bunch of quotes of them saying that then like, oh, these like new people who moving here better not change it.
Yeah.
And it's like,
or negative politics, which we still don't understand
we don't know what that means. Yeah, that means cancel culture, baby. But yeah, there's definitely this sense of that. I think one of the senses of
they're killing our vibe.
Yeah. The way that then that you could have your vibe not get killed is understanding in the sense that how these places exist, which can only be then through the lens of like affordability, housing, things like that. And yeah, they have like a very like boomer mentality where they're just like, oh, the young kids are ruining Berlin. It's like,
well, it's understandable when the scene, the music, the art grew. Not to say end of history again, that we always do, but grew out of a depoliticized, or like there were people also in the 90s who were in squats in Berlin who were like, for example, like anti-Deutsch, that are like the German, like we have to stop this like the new German Reich, that's like forming, and then people are like, nah, just gonna chill, not gonna think about that. I'm not gonna think about the consequences of what this means, the fall of communism.
I just want to I just want to
vibe.
I just want to rail speed,
and that's like always and that's like. The fact that, for example, techno comes from like in Detroit, like made by people who either worked in like car factories or whose whole family worked in car factories, and it's like reclaiming the literal like production of these like metallic sounds that like is part of the labor that's just like exploited from you, versus like then you can create it yourself in like a creative way. But then that's just like it goes from that.
What if I just vibed?
To my friend at MetaComrade Emma Linke on Twitter called techno clubs the most Catholic space, because it's like you have
I'm listening,
either the bouncer or the DJ. The DJ's literally at the pulpit, and it's like this like temple. It's like this like holy space where, in comparison to whatever the Protestant Martin Luther, right? Wasn't that on October 31st? Nailed up his theses. Compared to that, whatever that is internalized or deconstructed or whatever, it is this is a space that's like the holiness is like kind of internal to this. You have to go here to access it.
Just like the Vatican.
Yeah, it's the Vatican.
I mean, yeah, then that even just solidifies.
No sex scandals.
Yeah, that's never happened in any music scene.
The Pope is in hot water for saying, "Dude, this ratio sucks." you have to criminal in ratio. Yeah.
The Pope has hired Frank to.
The Sistine Chapel has a terrible ratio right now. You're letting in too many dudes.
But. Yeah, I guess more or less on that note, happy Halloween.
Congratulations to Sven for living his best life, honestly.
Yeah. Congratulations to all of them for being really boring.
Right place, right time to just
vibe.
To just vibe.
Yeah, and to convince like a bunch of like, art students who are like trust fund kids that they're cool. Because that's who this documentary was for. Like other people who don't have jobs, like I'm sorry, cool kids like you and me, Rob, understand that this is, cop mentality. It is, respectful of the troops. and lots of weird undertones in that sense. But yeah,
they fought for your freedom, literally.
But this movie got like you showed me a picture of like the guy who made it, and I was like in no way surprised. It was just like it's people who think that they're cool or fail sons. You have no responsibilities. You can live in Berlin like off of the penny of your parents or whoever, and then it's fucking paying for you. And those are the people who can then become obsessive of like club culture. I've always wondered like how are there people who can like do nothing here but then like always somehow have money. And I always forget that there's a shit ton of very wealthy expats who just can exist in a realm of other like losers like them that don't do anything, but they just like this reminds me of that fucking interview with fucking Lil Xan where he's like, "Damn, LA is just like clout sharks."
Yeah,
and it is that.
Yeah, no, there's. Would you rather a club full of fake people, or 3 to 4 topless women who you paid to do a photo shoot with you?
Damn, that's crazy.
That's crazy. Just remember that your lifestyle as an expat in Berlin is under threat, and the thin blue line defending you from the coked up Brits are your Türsteher. So please,
yes,
next time you see them, thank them for their service.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that next time I go to the club.
So what does this make the awareness team? The awareness team as replacement for a bouncer? Is that like these are like local militias or something that's against? We got to flesh this out, but we don't have time on the podcast.
No. Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, I'm gonna reread End of Policing, but
there has to be a way forward, and we're gonna find it together.
But yeah, on that note, we will see you guys then for the bonus. Do we have anything to plug?
No, we have a lot of cool episodes coming up.
Yeah, we do have lots of cool episodes coming up. Thank you for putting up with Rob and I's like recovery episode.
Yeah,
I hope you all had a nice Halloween and stayed safe if you celebrate the religious holidays.
Right.
And yeah, we'll see you guys all then for the bonus or for next week. Take care.
Peace.